Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Piercey, and this is Out of the Fog. Jam-packed show full of information for you today. Mr. Bill Hart, who I know you all know, is the owner of New Evolution Wrestling. And he reached out so that we could do a show about the family business, which I believe is an organization within the Wrestling Federation. These guys that are real nice, real friendly. Anyway, it should be a whole lot of fun. And then after that, we're gonna have a conversation with Mr. Mark Ivany. He is a listing agent for a real estate company here in town that I may or may not know a little bit about. And he's gonna talk about what are some of the myths that people seem to have in their mind about selling your house this time of year. Anyway, should all be very fun, should all be very helpful. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Out of the Fog. I would like to introduce you to I'm gonna say cast of characters, and that's not a way of like making fun or anything, but this is John Biz. John, hello. Hellraiser, it's really nice to see you, you have beautiful eyes. Psycho Mitch, hi. Okay. You guys are from New Evolution Wrestling. Specifically, I'm sitting with the family business. Correct?
That's right. And first of all, your name again, sorry?
Jason.
Jason, all right. Well, listen, Jason, when you introduce the family business, make sure you do it properly.
Okay.
I am the manager of champions, John Biz. This is the Hellraiser, Justin Locke, and the most dangerous man walking the face of the planet today, Psycho Mitch.
Okay.
There would have been more of us here, but the wild thing, Tony King, the king of Newfoundland wrestling, and the vicious Vera Vine had better things to do than show up here and try and give your little show a ratings boost.
Oh, that's the impression that's what's happening. Okay. So, all right, my mistake. I didn't realize that the magnitude of whom I was speaking with. Gentlemen, if I may call you gentlemen, I apologize. John, New Evolution Wrestling. I have heard through the grapevine that the family business doesn't feel like they're getting what's due to them. So you got an event coming up in March. You talk a little bit about that event and sort of like why, because you're obviously very upset. Like Mitch won't do anything but grunt. You guys are upset, right? Exactly. Give us another grunt, man. Yeah, see, I told you. So what's going on here? Break it down for me.
It's real simple. The family business between all of our members has held more titles in Newfoundland wrestling history than anybody else combined. And then all of a sudden, New Evolution Wrestling's new owner, Bill Hart, comes along and he wants to treat the Hellraiser, Justin Locke, Psycho Mitch, and Tony King like a bunch of chumps. He wants to walk past me like I've only been in the business for a cup of coffee. That is utter disrespect, and we're not gonna stand for it. So we've been lobbying to try and get every title opportunity that we possibly can, and he keeps skirting around us. So on March 22nd, he's booked us in a survival of the fittest match against the top dogs. It's not the top dogs. To be quite honest, it's a kill shelter, to be 100% honest.
Well, I mean, Bill Hart is such a nice guy. Everybody loves Bill Hart.
Bill Hart is a hypocrite.
Oh, okay, all right.
Bill Hart puts on the facade of being a nice guy. Backstage, he plays his favorites, his boys, the Moondog Dylan Davis, Bulldog Brandon Hines, Maverick Wheeler, and the NEW champion, his golden boy, Jeremiah Javen. These are the
So hold on now. If this person is legitimately the NEW champion?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't seem happy about that.
No.
It's a legit championship, or it was gifted? Did he or did he not earn it?
Well, he earned it, but it was because of me. I helped Jeremiah Javen win that title about 2 years ago against Drew Douglas.
So you're a cheater? Is that what you're saying? You cheated?
What? I'm a cheater?
I don't think this
That
guy...
was a question, sir. Not an accusation, a question. Because you said you helped somebody else win.
Yes, I helped him win.
So you trained him?
No, I helped him win the match. I took Drew Douglas out, and I basically gave him the platform to win the match.
So you were a part of the match?
No, I wasn't a part of the match.
So you inserted yourself into a match?
Correct.
Yeah, but that's cheating by definition, isn't it?
It's interesting because when you talk to Jeremiah Javen, when you talk to Bill Hart, now, today, that's how they feel. But back 2 years ago, when the Hellraiser selflessly put himself in harm's way against Newfoundland icon Drew Douglas and inserted himself into the match, he was, if you had asked Jeremiah Javen 2 years ago, that was a selfless act to help right a wrong.
Okay, so where was the rest of the family business when you selflessly put yourself in harm's way to help Golden Boy?
Well, at the time, there was no family business.
Oh, so all of this is because they're throwing, you're the scapegoat. I gotcha.
Bill has the audacity at our last show, which they named after us, by the way, back in business on February 8th, to put his hands on me.
Ooh. Bill's a big guy, though. And then listen, John, Biz, I know you know what you're doing. I know your stuff. But, like, apples to apples here. He's like 8 apples and you're like 3. Like, you're not a tall guy. And Bill is a tall guy. So he's putting hands on you?
He is, that giant Frankenstein-looking bald-headed freak grabbed a hold of me and viciously assaulted me in front of all those pieces of trash that buy tickets to go cheer their best friends in the CLB Armory.
When's the next event?
The next event is March 22nd, right back at the CLB Armory, where you're gonna see the family business absolutely decimate. Run a clean sweep, I can guarantee it, in the survival of the fittest match.
Well, yeah, but who's gonna watch it? All of the trash? All the pieces of trash?
Yeah.
So you want me to speak to my audience right now that have known me for like 6+ years now and invite them all as pieces of trash to your show?
I'm speaking as a representative of family business here, not as a representative of New Evolution Wrestling.
Because who would that be? That would be Bill Hart.
That would be Bill Hart.
Interesting. Mitch, what do you think of all of this, man? Am I misunderstanding something here?
I wouldn't get too close to him.
Is that why he sat all the way over here?
That's for your safety.
He's a big guy. Don't worry, he's having a good day today. He's in a good mood.
He's in a good mood.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Lucky for you.
lucky for me. Well, listen.
Easy, buddy.
I think the worst mistake a man can make, whether he's a wrestler, a fighter, or not, is to attempt to lay hands on somebody whose story you do not know. So I'm just going to say that. So we're all cool. We're all at peace. I'm helping you tell your story. I'm not a Bill Hart fan either. I'm here to help you. Let's get that straight. So John, if you're a businessman, sort it out. Be a businessman. Look into that camera and talk your business.
March 22nd at the CLB Armory, I've been forced to participate in this survival of the fittest match. I've been training hard with the best that Newfoundland has to offer. Bill, when you put your hands on me back in February, it was one of the worst mistakes that you ever possibly could have made, because you awoke something in me that I didn't even know was there. I've been a cutthroat businessman in this industry for decades. But now, you're about to see a side of me that nobody wants to see. The last thing that I'm gonna say to you, Bill, is this. Back in February, you let 10 seconds of courage ruin the rest of your life. And you don't even know what kind of hell is coming to you. Courtesy of me and the rest of the family business. To the fans of New Evolution Wrestling, get your tickets at Ticket Scene, get down to Heroes and Hobbies, Buy your tickets now. Make sure you show up at the CLB nice and early, because this is going to be the last time that you ever get to see Jeremiah Javen, Moondog Dylan Davis, Bulldog Brandon Hines, or Maverick Matt Wheeler walking around without some type of medical assistance. We're done playing games. As great as all four of those guys are and the impressive resumes that they have, we are going to demolish your heroes. And at the end of the day, Jason, it's not personal. It's just business.
All right, fine. It's just business. Y'all can take your little family business and you can relax now. We got television for real people here. Mr. Hellbringer, John, Swizzy, Busy,
Hey,
whatever.
get my name right,
Mitch,
pal.
I called you Mister. That's more than you deserve. Mitch, Mr. Psycho, you're my favorite so far. I want to know why? Because you don't spit foolishness. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. We will be back right after this break. I got to get these cats out of here. Nothing but a disrespect. I've had this audience for 7 years. You can talk to my audience like trash. You'll see. There'll be somebody new on your wrestling whatever one of these days. That's enough of it. Cut it, Perry. Cut it. Welcome back to Out of the Fog. Sorry, guys. Oh, my goodness, I'm a mess. I'm so sorry. I apologize. That's not what I thought was happening. I look awful. I don't even have my shoes on. Okay, let's get into something sensible, something that's we can talk about and have like a real conversation with good people. Oh, my goodness. I apologize. Where was I? Mark. Listen, you saw them when they were on the way out. I'm sorry that you had to be a part, and I'm sorry about the comment about your hair. I didn't ask him specifically. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to somebody who over the last number of years I've gotten to know really well and gained a great deal of respect for. Actually, Mark, this is Mr. Mark Ivany. He is a realtor here in St. John's with the Newfoundland and Labrador Association of Realtors. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I was waiting for you to tag me in the parking lot there.
I thought about it. But you know what? I actually think, considering there was 3 of them, I think I did all right.
You made it pretty good.
I think I came out on top. I mean, I'm still here doing TV. Anyway, we're going to talk about real estate. That's the thing that I spend a lot of time in. But rather than me go off on all the things that I think I know, I'm interviewing somebody who has a specialization in real estate. Now, Mark, a lot of realtors will say like, you know, I work with buyers and sellers and I lease and I do commercial and I do new construction and all these different things. And it's not to say that they don't, but you have a specialization.
Yeah, I'm the listing realtor for our team, the AS team. So I specialize in getting houses, appraised and ready for market, and working with sellers to get the most value out of their property.
So rather than being on the other side where you're like chasing around listings with buyers, you focus on the home that is being sold as opposed to the buyers who are buying it.
Correct. Yeah, and there's 2 different processes: the buying and the selling. It's 2 almost completely different ways to operate within our market. But as a selling agent, you want to make sure that you're advising and getting things ready, being an expert on what's going on in the area, and being ready to advise your clients on what the best price is, how to get the most out of their property.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask you questions that I often hear and that I think everybody hears. Let's just start with the most basic one. How's the market? How's the real estate market?
It's probably one of the most common questions I get asked. I get asked this on a run. I get asked this at the supermarket. How's the market? And it really depends on, we have one, so that's great. Right now, currently, selling houses is really strong in our market. Buying is a little bit harder to do because there's a lot less inventory around.
So when you say we have a market, like I asked, like, is it a good market? And you're like, well, we have one. So are you saying that like having one is a good market versus not having one? Like, what do you mean?
I feel like we are able to buy and sell real estate in the province, so therefore you're able to put your house up for what you feel is a fair market price, and then there's a market out there for people to negotiate with you. So as far as I'm concerned, we have a good market. Right now, it's a strong market in terms of sellers are getting a little bit more for their houses because we have a low inventory, and so therefore buyers are having a little bit harder time finding homes. That's current state today.
So a good market or a bad market isn't. You're saying it's not like determined by the price of things?
It's really, I guess, depending on what it is you're doing. If you're buying or selling, there's two different sides of it. So if you're buying, you might be finding it's a little bit harder because I'll give you an example. I did a showing for a home the other day, and there was 15 offers on one house. So that meant there was 14 people in this city that are pre-approved that didn't get a home that day. So that means it's a bit harder if you're a buyer to go out and find a home. Now, as a seller, you can put your home up as long as it's priced right and marketed right. You should have fairly good luck selling it fairly quickly.
So, okay. So we've established that good market, bad market is sort of dependent on what side of the equation you're on. So we don't have enough inventory, you're saying. So not enough houses for sale?
Correct, yeah. So right now what's happening is there's more people actively looking to buy than we have houses on the market. And I'll give you an example. Let's say you're at a party and there's 20 people there and all of a sudden 20 pizzas show up. You have lots of time to go pick out whatever one you want. You got all kinds of options.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden...
This sounds like a good party.
Right? Now all of a sudden you go to another party, there's 20 of you there and 2 pizzas show up. Well, if you don't hurry up and get your slice, you're not going to get one and you don't have any options. So that's kind of what's going on in today's market. If you aren't up and ready and rearing to go, so you don't get a house. But what that means is, as a seller, there's more people trying to get at your property. They don't have as many options.
Demand.
Supply and demand. It's the basic concept of supply and demand.
So more people want to buy than there are things to buy.
Correct.
Which means they compete with each other to buy that thing, and the price of that thing goes up.
Exactly.
So in order for prices to stop going up or stay the same or come down, more people need to sell their house.
If more people sold their house, you would see a leveling off, for sure.
So more people sold, or more people at least put it up?
At least put them up on the market, yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, well, what about the seasonality? Because one of the other things that I hear is like, well, no, we're going to sell. We want to sell. We know there's not enough inventory. We're going to sell, but we're going to wait for spring. Everybody says that. What's that about?
That's basically, the weather in Newfoundland typically isn't great for moving and stuff. And I get that sometimes, your property shows better in the spring. And that's understandable. But the bigger factor in selling your house really is, would you rather be one of the only properties in your whole neighborhood for sale, or do you want to be one of 5 and give other people options? So really, your better chance is to get up if there's no one else kind of also fighting for that same business. You are the only one. So the spring market, yeah, it's a little pretty and makes more sense, but it doesn't necessarily make more sense for the best price for your house.
So less competition means higher prices for everybody.
Correct.
Because you're competing for it. So increasing the competition lowers the prices. So wouldn't it be great if we could increase the competition for how much it costs to buy electricity? Because we could lower the price of it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then why would people just not be like, okay, I'll do it now?
I think it's just an old school mentality of, people wanted to wait till the summer and people think that the summer is the busiest time. And what I've noticed in the period of time I've been in the business is that summertime people are busy. They're doing stuff. It's not necessarily
they're on
as
vacation
busy. They're away and stuff. It's not as busy as you think. The spring and fall can be just as busy or busier than anything in the summer. And things change, so it's not necessarily waiting for the spring, what are you waiting for, really? I mean, buyers always need to find a home. Could be a change in marital status, could be a change in job, immigrants, anything like that. These people need homes. They're not waiting for the interest rate to go down. If you need a home, you need a home. So really,
and they're not waiting for the weather.
They're not waiting for the weather. They don't care. They need a place to live.
So the buyers come out when there are things to buy, not when the weather changes.
Exactly. The weather is just almost artificial in a way. It's a great thing, I guess, not to move in a snowstorm. I get it. But if you need a home, you don't care what the weather's like.
Well, okay. So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's say that if you're a seller and you want to sell your house, but you don't want to do it now because you're worried about the weather. We've sort of already put some math out there that suggests you're not going to get more money if you wait because of like the supply and demand function that you articulated. But you don't want to move because the weather sucks for moving. But I mean, it's not like you put your house up for sale today, you get an offer today, and you move today.
Exactly. There's all kinds of things you can do. So as a seller, you might have a closing date that could be sometime, even let's say today, you could have a closing date that's 2-3 months longer than.
So what do you mean by closing date?
So that's the date that you actually give the keys to the other person, the transaction closed.
So you get your money, they get the
funds
keys.
Change hands, and that's the actual date. So there's a listing date, and there's all your conditions, and then you have your closing date. So your closing date is the actual time that you leave your home and it changes possession. That could be most time, I think on average, usually in St. John's, it's usually 4 to 5 weeks most people turn over, but it doesn't have to be that quick. You could be a couple months, and depending on your position, that's probably suitable to most people. So you don't necessarily have to list and be out right away. You can dictate that.
So it seems to me that like this provides an opportunity for people who are, maybe they're downsizing because they're retirees, or, well, I mean, perhaps a large portion of our audience here at Out of the Fog in Rogers, if they're downsizing and they want to wait until the spring because they don't want to have to deal with it in the winter, which I sympathize with, you could do it now when you don't have competition, sell faster and for more money, but because you're in control as the seller, are you saying you could dictate your closing date to be later when you're more comfortable?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing with being the seller and being a listing agent, that I would have that in mind. So if you're ideally listing today, let's say, and you would prefer a 2-month out close, well then we would have that negotiated. We would work that out.
Interesting. So I was looking at some of the data, like from the real estate board here locally, that on average through all of 2024, houses sold for just over 96% of their asking price, their original asking price. So if your house was $100,000, you got just over 96,000 for it. The data from where you work says 102.7% of asking price. So explain that.
So a lot of it is strategy and how you price it. And there's a lot of work goes into pricing the homes correctly and making sure you get a tremendous amount of people looking at your property.
So that house that has 15 offers.
Exactly. So if you can market your house with the correct price, which is a marketing tool, the price, and having the right materials and having the right data and just really having the best listing possible, you can really boost the sale price of your home with a correct strategy.
Mark, if there's people watching now that are interested in selling and they like some of the stuff that you're saying, because like from 96 to 102, that's over 6%.
It is.
And so like, that's a lot. Like on an average sale price now, that even if it was the low sale price of 300 as opposed to an average, it's like 330 or 350 or something. Like you do the math on that, that's like $20,000 by the time you put taxes and stuff on it. So if there's somebody watching who finds this fascinating and they want to talk to you, how do they get in touch with you?
I'm available on social media, Mark Ivany, Realtor on Facebook. I'm available on phone, text, call at 709-325-0535.
Okay, 325-0535. Mark, thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I learned something then too, which I don't say often. We'll be right back after this. welcome back to Out of the Fog. Okay, let me get in close here, guys. Sincere apology, because I think far too highly of you as the audience here at Out of the Fog to let you witness that foolishness with the family business. Anyway, if you want to go see the show and watch the good guys put the villains in their place, I think you should on the 22nd at the CLB. And secondly, Mark Ivany. If that made sense, if you're thinking about selling, reach out to Mark. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We want to hear from you. Provide feedback on this show or find out how you can get involved. Call, email us, or scan the QR code to take our quick survey.
You called us in, meaning you suspect foul play.
We have nothing to hide.
How do we know that this sex scandal is real?
It was completely consensual.
Do you remember all of your cases, Detective Braff?
Only the ones that keep me up at night.
This is fraud on a massive scale.
I didn't do anything.
Sit down. You'll need a good lawyer to prove it.
Oh, we have one, and he's excited to meet you.
You might have yourself a murder case.
Welcome to the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Stalo people. The Stalo are people of the river. I'm so thankful for the courage and resiliency of our ancestors who lived on this land since time immemorial. Each of us have gifts from the Creator, and our Creator has a plan and purpose to be fulfilled in our territory. As we embrace our traditional teachings, we can lead the next generation into the fullness of what our Creator designed. Our shared history reveals a broken relationship, but as all Canadians commit to hear truth, acknowledge injustice, we can learn to walk in our traditional way, Letsamot, with a good heart and a good mind. Then all of our lives will be enriched. Kwasai.
We're in for something special. The best of the best. It's